Darren Waller, they shut him down, or he
Hmm.
was shut down in the second half. What happened there, and is it a template for other teams to copy? Do you think?
No, I don't think it's necessarily a template. It was just kind of how the game was going. Um, Part of that is I think we went our first four possessions in the second half 3 and out, so that affects it a little bit as well. And then with Darren, just coming back in a short week, you don't have a ton of stuff in there for him like you might on a normal situation, and so you just me personally, I really am cautious with some of the stuff we do with him right now early on until he kind of gets his legs underneath him. But it was more of Carolina being able to dictate some stuff. They were very aware of where he was going into it. It was just kind of like he was just 83, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we've got to really try to lock this guy down. So um, kudos to them, and we'll be better about everything this week, I'm sure.
His effectiveness, is that something that you could see coming even through the slow ramp up, the hip setback? Did you feel this was coming for him?
Yes, yes. It's funny because they want to talk about his age, and it truly is a number because he hasn't played a lot of football, so to speak, as far as compared to how many years he's been in the league. Between practice squad stuff, the retirement, maybe some injuries. So I felt like when you watched his tape, it did not surprise me that he was able to do the things that he could do because he's still a young player as far as football. It maybe not as the actual number, but his football experiences in the NFL, he's still a young on the younger side in my mind.
On his snaps on offense doubled, as you know, from 16 to 32 on
I did
Sunday.
not know that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Do you
you.
expect him to stay in that range of 32, or could there be another jump?
I don't know about the range. I don't want to sit there and say like, hey, Mike, Darren's at 34 and we're in the third quarter or something like that. So I think it'll come naturally as we continue to keep him going and keep him ramping him up. I think you'll slowly see his reps increase.
You all have had success with 22 personnel with your power packages. Is that some with Julian and Darren in particular, some Tanner? Is that something that you would push Mike to do more of?
Well, I'd be pushing Mike to do 13 personnel and all that. So I'm always pushing for that, trying to get my guys on the field. But I think it's more a product of what the defenses look like that particular week and what things we're trying to attack. Does it fit in with some of our base stuff so it's not, completely different and out there, so that defense could say, oh, when this happens or this personnel comes out, this is what we can expect. So I don't know necessarily it'll just grow. I think it'll be a week to week thing, like it is with most personnel groups.
When you have a player like Darren Waller, who obviously does look quite athletic, how much do you have plays where you can put him out wide and create those kind of favorable mismatches?
Well, I think again, it all depends on the scheme you're facing. If you're going to get man coverage from a linebacker, put him out there all day, right? If it's a safety, depending on who the safety may be, you could do some of that. If it's a zone team, are they pressing? Is it cushion or access, free access for them? So a lot of that just depends on what the defense is, what their base defense is, and how their structure, their coverage structure is would probably dictate some of that more than just let's just put them out there.
And with him, obviously he's worked. This is now week 3. Um, Last week, short week, he's already limited. How much have you sort of thrown the playbook at him in terms of mastery and understanding and things
Right.
that you guys are trying
We've thrown a lot at him even before he was participating. Darren is a very smart individual, so he picks things up well. Rob Everett, my assistant, does a lot of stuff maybe while we're upstairs as a staff watching tape, kind of taking them through the plays on the field, just walking through it. And same with some of the other guys in the practice squad. I think we do a good job around here in general developing guys that are on the practice squad or injured or not playing, maybe necessarily, of keeping them up to speed on what we're doing and actually getting practice without practicing. So it did not surprise me at all between his natural intelligence and then the stuff that we kind of do to help our guys anyway, allowed him to come out there and play basically, pretty seamlessly.
To the personnel groupings and the idea of 13 and 22. When Alec Ingold's on the field as an attached Y, like on the Waddle touchdown, for instance, do you view that as 13 personnel? And what's the benefit of having a player that can basically make you, convertible between 13 and 22 like that?
I don't consider it 13 because he doesn't sit in my meeting room, but we can do 13 things. Alec is a lot like Juszczyk was for us in San Francisco in that you can move them around and do some stuff. They're athletic. But they can still do fullback stuff, but they can do some stuff in the passing game as well. So it just gives us a different look to create, maybe do some different things in the run game or pass protection, as opposed to just doing it out of 13.
It seems like this era that we're in is maybe you could define as a golden era for tight ends throughout the league.
Yeah.
There are so many good receiving tight ends out there.
Right.
And in respect to Waller and how well he's doing, I can't help but wonder if, especially with Tyreek out, if he can be that go-to weapon that this offense needs. And it seems like when you're facing some of the other elite tight ends, no matter what the defense wants to do, it's like the offense says, darn it, we're going to target this guy.
Right.
And you're going to have to stop him no matter what.
Right.
Do you see the Dolphins maybe reaching that point where you're going to just rely on Waller and regardless of what the defense wants to do, you're going to refuse to
See,
let
you're
them
setting
take
me
him
up.
away?
You're trying to set me up. I would lean on all of the guys, right? No, that's a great question because, as you look at it, I've obviously biased. I've always felt like if you have a good tight end, that's the biggest mismatch you can have on your offense, especially if they will do something in the run game. Because now your safeties, their eyes are off, because they got to look at you, and now their eyes are off as far as their fits possibly. Or you make a call where you're risking your linebacker covering a guy like a Darren Waller or Kittle or Kelsey, all those guys. Like as you mentioned, that are coming through and going through it, and so you're able to create mismatches with that. I think really at the end of the day, you've got to I think look at it from where do you have those mismatches, and then how can you take advantage of it, but not do it in such a way that you're sacrificing the core of your offense or the philosophy of your offense to get it done.
I'm doing something on Julian
Yes,
Hill.
go ahead.
And just kind of where he is right now, which I think is absolutely incredible considering his background, which I was just made aware of, how he grew up. High school, I think his knee injury as a sophomore and as a senior, goes to a small college, has some problems initially adjusting to the NFL. But what can you say about his journey and where he is now? It just seems incredible.
Well, I'm very happy and proud of Julian. I think, like as you mentioned, all the stuff that he's had to overcome on and off the field to be where he is. Again, really everyone in my room is very smart. The stuff that we have to learn, only the quarterback has to know more, and those guys do a great job of picking it up. There's a lot of areas of gray, and we get it figured out. And Julian is, I think, a testament to kind of that whole room of what it is. I get it. Last year, he, some things with some penalties, and I won't get into that. Not all of it was on him, but he took it, and he's playing really well now. He's, when I had Kittle in this offense, it took him till year 2 till he had a decent idea of what he was doing. Year 3 till he was like, okay, I have it. And now, as you can see, Julian, year 3, he has it. And I think some of those penalties that he was getting last year was aggression or being out of position and understanding certain things of why he needed to do something a certain way. He owns it now. He takes pride in his role. That's the other thing I love about my room, is very selfless. When Darren scores, they all score. I mean, they all have a field day with it. Darren's their biggest cheerleader when they do something. And so I really like that there's a room full of selfless people. And Julian, I think it's just scratching the surface. I really do. I really think Now he's doing some stuff in the passing game as well. He's really coming along as a pass protector, which is huge for us in this offense. And I'm very happy that he is getting this opportunity to really show what he's capable of. Again, as you mentioned, basically overlooked every step of the process. And I think really the story there is that just shows a lot of mental toughness and fortitude on his part, because he doesn't listen to what people said. I'm sure all along the way, thousands of people told him, you can't, you'll never. And he doesn't listen. He knows what he's capable of. He knows his heart. He knows what it's going to take, and he's not going to accept no as an answer and find a way, and he's done it. So I'm very happy for him. And like I said, I think he's just scratching the surface here.
I want to ask you, put your assistant head coach hat on. This team obviously responded to adversity last year when you guys struggled out the gate and then went on to win 6 of 3. What makes you confident knowing this team in this locker room that you guys are going to respond and dig your way out of this 1-4 hole?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that makes me feel confident about this. The first would be the people we have in that locker room, the leaders that we have in there. I get it. As a team, as a unit, as a whole, we have not played well. Whether it's offense, defense, special teams, we've all taken our turns of playing, not playing Miami Dolphin football. And part of the confidence I get is from what those guys do on the practice field. And now it's up to us as coaches and players to take what we're doing on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and put it together on a Sunday. And that's really what has kind of been a little bit baffling and a little bit of like, what the heck is going on, is because I feel like we've had good practices. It's just there's spurts where it's like you don't even recognize what's happening out there. And so for us, it's really going to come down to consistency. Now, some of that is youth. Some of that is maybe guys are playing different positions, or, little different nuances that are going on. And, as coaches, we got to, kind of eliminate some of that stuff so they can keep going to play fast, play with some clarity. And we'll get that part done on our end. And then I expect our guys to go out there and play it like they've been practicing and been preparing. Because it'd be different if we weren't preparing. If you could sit back and say, God, last week this practice was bad, this happened, that happened. That's not really been the case. And we've had most of our guys available for practice, so it's not a situation where we have a guy not practice till Friday and then go out there and try to play and then it looks like it. So I feel good about that. I see the guys, how they still talk and engage with each other, the energy that they have. The way they go attack meetings, what they do in the weight room. Like I walk around and check them out in the weight room and stuff, and there's no one skipping out or anything or taking shortcuts. I think when you're in this situation as a coach, those are the signs you look for. Are guys coming late? Are guys not showing up prepared? Trying to find their ways out of things? If that's happening, then that to me is a red flag of like, uh-oh, this is not good. But none of those things have shown. And so, again, we go have a good practice today and get to play the Chargers on Sunday.